back for the second segment of the January 20th Trips and Traps. Andy Serling, Eric Donovan.
Two more races to bring you. We'll start off with the fourth race from January 16th. And this is a race where One Turn Eddie, a horse that had only run once, and that was on the turf, took a ton of money in the start, the number 9 on the outside.
Yeah, we'll dedicate this to Eddie Yo-Yo, our cameraman, just because he's a special race for him.
Not even paying attention.
Right, not even paying. He's that got his attention. One Turn Eddie, as Eric said, well, he got bombed in this race. He did that one turf race over the summer at Belmont Park, where he had taken some money at 9-2 and didn't do so much running after showing speed. And this was one of those races we talked about, and it's such an inner track phenomenon. Even if the track wasn't strongly inside biased, I think the inside was a place to be. These are these kind of merry-go-round races, and One Turn Eddie is chasing wide the whole way.
Chasing, in about the 5th position right now, and the eventual winner of the race is the 140, and Storm was out there the whole way. The horse that finishes second is Virtue's Under Fire, who has the rail at this point here, and there's One Turn Eddie, trying to make a 3-wide bid on the outside, and it's just not going to be able to carry it on.
Right, and this money was right, even though the horse lost. And you see the rider, Pablo Fregoso, is sort of holding on to him, and he's at least 3 wide here. These are the kind of trips that you can't win on the inner track. When you have a runaway leader, a leader that runs away from the field on the inside, as you pointed out, the horse who finishes second comes up the fence the whole way, and there's One Turn Eddie chasing on the outside the whole way. I thought he ran well and better than it looks, and this is a horse in a fairly run race next time, and I wouldn't be surprised if he has a lot more speed next time. This horse is going to win, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm not so sure about winning, but should definitely run better than this. Obviously the horse that had the lead here had a supreme edge under Ramon Dominguez, and definitely was an insidey race. And One Turn Eddie, the money was right. The horse ran well, just different circumstances than what they probably expected.
Yeah, absolutely. It's tough. I knew when the horse threw the outside, it was an iffy situation, and as it set up, and the way that horse, and the winner was a Eric Contessa horse who was freshly gelded and was making its 4th start, but had about 4 or 5 years between every start, but this was the right start.
One more race to bring you. This is the 9th race from January 18th. We're going to take a look at a couple of horses in here. We're looking at the 7 Fiddler Zephyr, gets off to a slow start, and then the 9 Caitlin Ann, who has some trouble down the backstretch.
Yeah, this was an interesting race because you had all these firsters taking very squeeze of money, and the other horse, the 7 horse, took a lot of money in this race, late money at Tom Bush, first-time starter Fiddler Zephyr. But even Caitlin Ann, a John Hurtler firster, 7-1. This horse could have been any price. But the horses that had run finished 1-2. And I thought as the day went on Monday, the 18th, the rail got very, very strong as the track dried out. And you've got the trouble early, of course, with Fiddler Zephyr, but Caitlin Ann, on surface, having trouble controlling this horse.
You'll see it better on the head-on when we show it down the backstretch, but you'll take a look now and see, it looks like he's steadying almost, and, there's nothing in front of him. It looks like he's going to steady here. He's going to look over his shoulder to the outside to see what's going on out there. So obviously he's having some difficulties controlling this horse, and then there's Fiddler Zephyr still toward the back of the pack in here, while Silver Tax, the leader of this race, goes wire to wire.
Yeah, it's not Surfer's fault at all. I mean, he's got a green first-time star that just is getting out on him, and he's concerned. It's not his fault at all. And I thought actually Caitlin Ann actually ran pretty well when you consider she didn't lose by that much, and she's never inside the 4-path basically in this race, and out in the middle of the track, and you wanted to be inside. But also, Fiddler Zephyr is a horse Rosen DePrav never gets in a comfortable spot. She also knows at this point she's not winning the race, but ends up getting in behind horses, and you see her down towards the inside. Doesn't even get a clear path to run. It feels like, and we'll show you the head-on of this race afterwards, she isn't even really able to ride him until it's way too late in the race. Angles towards the outside, and then she really takes off once she gets clear after the race is basically over.
And she's kind of stuck in behind a triangle of horses there, kind of waiting for something to break her way so she can kind of make a move and get through there. And you'll see Fiddler Zephyr finishing up well. They're only beaten 4 1/4 lengths and here's a look at the head-on. We'll take a look at Fiddler Zephyr first coming out of the gate.
Yeah, and you'll see, obviously, Fiddler Zephyr will get left in here, and you'll see that, and you can see it in the pan and head-on. But also, we want you to take a look at what we're talking about with Caitlin Ann, how she's bearing out so much in this race, and it's just a situation. Eric was even talking about the shadow down the middle of the track. Was she a first-time starter intimidated by that? We don't know the reason, but clearly she has some issues in here, and I think by her second start, she'll be far improved. Fiddler Zephyr's probably going to be also much tougher. And horses like Fiddler Zephyr, the second time they run, I wouldn't be shocked to see this horse stretch out they always seem to break better and have speed.
Yeah, here you see Serpa in the white cap trying to get this horse inside and just, doesn't seem to want any part of crossing over that shadow until you get into the turn here. Now, this is a horse that I would expect an equipment change on next time out, maybe blinkers or shadow roll, something just a little bit different. And we'll take a look at the head on here from the back stretch, or from the top of the stretch rather, with Fiddler Zephyr.
Yeah, that's a good point about the equipment change. There's no doubt about that. Look for both of those. And Fiddler Zephyr, as you can just watch, is behind horses. Also worth noting, Triple Latte with Ramon Dominguez, horse who finishes third in here. This horse bred to go longer. It's going to take a lot of money next time. This horse never left the gold rail in this race, and it did do some running at the end, but I'm not falling for that one next time. I prefer these two horses.
Yeah, and you know what? I didn't think she took that much money in this race either. For Ramon Dominguez to be on a Gary Siaka first, I thought that would be something that a lot of people would take note of, and there's a Fiddler Zephyr finishing up well in there, but I'm sorry, Fiddler Zephyr
Both
finishing up well, and also
Triple
Latte too. But, I thought that horse was kind of a little chilly on the board for a horse Ramon's riding for a connection that he usually doesn't ride for.
Right, but also maybe because it was a horse that figured to need more ground in there, and it did do running at the end. I'm just reticent to taking horses also that rally up the rail, and that horse, there are too many other horses I thought had interesting trips that I want to get caught on that one, that next time it shows up, Ramon's going to be on. It's going to stretch out for Gary Siaka, going to be 2-1 or less, and I'm not falling. Probably win, but I'm not biting.
That does it for this segment of Trips and Traps. The viewer email address, once again, tripsandtraps@NYRAinc.com. Andy and myself both love to hear the comments.
Yes, we do. We appreciate them. We like to hear them, and we appreciate them, and they help us out, no doubt about it. And, of course, thanks for watching.